On a warm June night in 2004, a family in a quiet Illinois town went to bed believing everything was normal. By morning, 3-year-old Riley Fox had vanished within hours. The search would turn into one of the most heartbreaking child murder investigations in modern Illinois history. But the tragedy did not end there. As investigators raced to solve the crime, they became convinced they already knew the killer. The only problem, they were wrong. This is a story of Riley Fox, the investigation that found the innocent's father has become the prime suspect, and how DNA evidence eventually revealed the truth. Wilmington, Illinois is the kind of place where neighbors know one another. Located about an hour southwest of Chicago, it's a small community where violent crime is rare. Kevin and Melissa Fox lived there with their 3-year-old daughter, Riley. Friends describe Riley as energetic, curious, and deeply loved by her family. Nothing suggests that June 6, 2004 would become the darkest day of their life. That night, Riley was put to bed as usual. Everything appeared normal. The disappearance the following morning, Riley was gone. Her bedroom was empty. Her parents immediately called police. Investigators responded quickly, searching the home and surrounding area while volunteers joined the effort. As the hours passed, hope began to fade. There came the devastating discovery. Riley's body was found in nearby creek in near a forest preserve. The committee was shocked. What had started as a missing child case had become a homicide investigation. Detective now faced enormous pressure to identify whoever was responsible. The investigation takes a turn. Rather than focusing primarily on a known suspect, investigators soon turned their attention toward someone much closer. Kevin Fox. Like many parents in similar tragedies, he was questioned extensively. Hours of interrogation followed. Investigators challenged his account repeatedly. Eventually, after prolonged questions, Kevin signed a confession admitting responsibility for his daughter's death. To many observers, the case appeared solved, but there was one major problem: the confession did not match the physical evidence. And Kevin quickly recanted, saying he had confessed only after relentless physiological pressure. The role of false confession. Cases like this highlight a difficult reality. Research has shown that false confession can occur, particularly during lengthy interrogation involving exhaustion, stress, or intense physiological pressure. An innocent person may come to believe that confessing is the only way to the end interrogation. Because of this possibility, investigators today increasingly rely on subject evidence rather than confession alone. In really case that objective evidence would prove critical. DNA changed everything. Crime scene investigators had collected biological evidence. As forensic tested progressed, the DNA profile obtained from the evidence did not match Kevin Fox. Instead, it pointed to someone else entirely. Authority compared the DNA with criminal database. Eventually, they identified Scott E.B., a convicted sex offender. Confronted with the forensic evidence, E.B. admitted responsibility for abducting and murdering Riley. His confession matched details that investigators had previously been unable to explain. The evidence against him was overwhelming. Kevin Fox was completely exonerated. The man police had accessed was innocent. Justice for Relay. Scott Eby was convicted and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. For Riley family, however, no conviction could undo what had happened. They had lost their daughter, and during the investigation, they had also endured the trauma of seeing Riley's father publicly accused of her murder. The emotional damage extended far beyond the crime itself. Aftermath. Kevin Fox later filed a federal civil rights lawsuit against law enforcement officers involved in the investigation. The lawsuit argued that investigators had ignored evidence, used coercive interrogation tactics, and violated his constitutional rights. The case ended with a multi-million dollar settlement. It became one of the most discussed examples of the danger of tunnel vision during criminal investigation. Many law enforcement agencies have since emphasized the importance of corroborating confession with physical evidence and maintaining objective investigative practice. The legacy of the case. Today, the Riley Fox case is remembered for two reasons. First, because of the heartbreaking loss of a young child whose life ended far too soon. Second, because it demonstrated how even determined investigators can reach the wrong conclusion when they focus too narrowly on single suspect. DNA evidence did not simply identify the real killer, it corrected a profound miscarriage of justice. The case is now studied by legal experts, investigators, and forensic professionals as an example of why evidence, not assumption, must guide every investigation. For Riley Fox family, the pain of losing their daughter can never truly disappear. Justice was eventually served, but justice arrived only after an innocent father was accused of committing the unthinkable. The case remains a reminder that every investigation carries two responsibilities to identify the guilty and to protect the innocent. Sometimes the same evidence does both. In the end, science revealed what Egyptians had concealed, and because of that, the truly finally emerged. I hope you understand this story. Bye bye.